feel like a little Amish lady today, but I love it. Hi, hello everybody, how are we doing today? My name is Kat and welcome to today's video. So today we are going to be going through some makeup regrets that I have. Some of these I regret because of the price. Some of these it's the packaging and, you know, just not needing them. Some of them it's the quality. For various reasons I am regretting having these items. But, you know, at one point in time I really wanted them. So, you know, you can't always predict when you're gonna regret things. But yeah, we're just gonna go through some of my makeup regrets today. I hope that you enjoy going through this. I don't want to make it super negative. I do want to keep kind of like a positive tone to it, but some of the stuff was just crap. So yeah, I plan on filming a few videos today, so you might see this look, this little Amish shirt in a few videos. So just, I don't know, enjoy it. I like this shirt. I hope you like it too. Usually when I don't like something, I just get rid of it. So what I've been trying to do lately is evaluate things that I have in my collection and think about whether or not I like it. And I wanted to just talk about some products that really weren't hitting the mark for me. I'm gonna start with everything else that I regret, and then I'm just gonna talk about the few palettes that I have that I'm not super happy to own. The first makeup regret that I have is the Urban Decay eyeshadow primer. A lot of people love this and use this, and I have used this before and liked it, but I think that they changed the formula and something just isn't right. And honestly, I put it on and it's very watery and it creases before I even get my eyeshadow on. And the point of eyeshadow primer is to help your eyeshadow last longer and also prevent creasing and prevent like the shimmer transferring from the lid. And I felt that this just didn't help at all. So it was kind of a waste of money and I regret buying it for the second time. This is why I don't really like to buy the same product over again. I don't really like rebuying because sometimes companies just change the formula and they don't say anything. So yeah, a little bit bummed that I own this. The next thing that I have is a regret just because it doesn't work well. It's a decent price and everything, but it's just not a good primer. And you know, with makeup, sometimes quality and price aren't symbiotic and sometimes they are. And in that case, they were symbiotic. This is the e.l.f. Putty Eye Primer. I love the putty face like skin primer. I find that it's a beautiful primer that just fills in the pores and leaves me with a nice matted look. But this just isn't it. It was so dry and hard to use. I couldn't apply it with a brush. I couldn't apply it with my fingers. It wasn't working. Maybe it was old or something, but yeah, it wasn't good. Sure, it was only like, I don't know, $8 or something, but just because something is cheap and doesn't work doesn't mean that I should still like not be disappointed. It's so weird with my primers. It's either too watery or it's too dry. The next thing I have are just a few, the next thing that I have are a few cheek products. This is the Nars Orgasm blush. When I got this, it was really expensive at the time for me, and it was the only blush that I had, and even though I didn't love it, it was literally the only blush that I had, so I did hit pan on it, and I kind of just dealt with it. But now, looking back at it, I have so many other blushes that I love way more, and it was expensive for me at the time. This was like $38 and that was a lot for a blush at the time. And so I kind of regret spending that money on a blush when I bought this, but you know, I did use it, so it hasn't gone completely to waste. This is really old. I should probably throw this out, to be honest. The next thing I have are two Juvia's Place highlighters. This is the volume 1 and the volume 2. Now I have the volume 3 and I love that. I love that highlighter. The highlighter is a fantastic formula, but what ended up happening was I got the whole set of highlighters, the 1, 2, and 3, because it ended up being cheaper than just getting the 3, even though the 3 was the only one that I would use. And you know, I won't use these. They're really beautiful just as like an eyeshadow topper, and you know, you could probably very gently top with it as a highlighter, but they're way too dark for me and I'm not going to use these, and I'm not going to hit pan on these ever. I've kind of just had them sitting in my collection because I haven't visited any of my friends that might be able to use these, and so they're not getting used in my collection. I kind of regret buying them, even though, you know, price wise it was more valuable for me to get all 3. I wasn't gonna use all 3, so I probably should have just got the 1 or waited until the 1 got on sale. The next regret that I have is the CoverGirl Clean Fresh Skin Milk. I love Tinted Moisturizer. It's something that I've been recently getting into because I like a more natural skin finish, and I like how light it is, especially during this weather and wearing a mask. I didn't want something that would transfer all over my mask, and you know, I didn't want to sweat a lot because I didn't want to have to touch my face. So I've been getting into Tinted Moisturizer more recently, and so I thought I would give this a try because it's a really good price. It was like under $10 and it's light coverage. I found my shade really easily, but this is awful. It's so bad. It smells funky, it's sticky, it doesn't hold up, it's kind of goes on a little bit crumbly. I find that it crumbled up as I put it on, so it just didn't work for me. It really didn't, and if this worked for you, I commend you. I am glad that it works for you, but for me, it just didn't do that. This doesn't work for me, and I'm not actually probably going to use this. I might mix it in with another tinted moisturizer just so that I can get through it. But it's a hard one for me to use because on its own, it feels awful on my skin. It feels terrible. I really hate it. The next thing that I have is another skin tint. This is the Lancome Skin Feels Good Hydrating Skin Tint. It is hydrating, so it does what it's supposed to do, but this wasn't a good skin tint because it really didn't look like I was wearing anything at all. By not wearing anything at all, I mean it didn't cover any of my redness, didn't like cover any of my acne scarring or anything like that. It didn't even out my skin tone, which all of my other skin tints that I really like does. Like my Smashbox one evens out my redness a little bit, and it does a good job of providing a light coverage over my acne scarring, and it evens out my skin tone. It's a perfect skin tint CC cream situation. This honestly just made it look like I had no makeup on, and for some people that's a good thing, but for me, I wanted a little bit more. I just needed like a little bit of something. I don't need much, you know, with a light coverage foundation or skin tint, but yeah, this did nothing. It honestly made my skin look bad, and I don't like spending this kind of money on something that's gonna make my skin look bad, so I regret getting this for sure. Now, the next couple things that I have are lipsticks. So my number one regret, the lipstick I definitely regret getting, is this YSL Rouge Volupte whatever shine. This YSL lipstick. It was $50 and it's not worth $50. It's so sheer. It's not even close to the color that I thought it was going to be. It's supposed to be like a chilly color. It's not that. Unless you, I'm sure if you layer it on like 5 times you'll get it, but that is nothing. It's gonna change the color of my natural lips ever so slightly. If you have darker lips, this probably wouldn't even show up on you, so it's not good, and I am not happy to own this. I feel like it was just such a waste of my money. Pretty much every time that I buy luxury house branded makeup like YSL, and I have a Dior palette that's also in here, every single time I buy something from those brands, I'm so disappointed. So I'm not doing that anymore, but that's just me personally. If it works for you, go get it, but this did not do it for me, and I very much regret spending that kind of money on a lipstick because I probably could have gotten an eyeshadow palette, I could have got a really beautiful highlighter. It didn't happen. It didn't work. The next thing I have here is this Hard Candy Syrup Kiss lip stain. I thought this was gonna be like a lip stain and that it would dry down a little bit, but it just stays sticky and it doesn't feel good. And you know, it was from the drugstore, so obviously I'm not that mad that it didn't work perfectly for me because it didn't cost that much, but like I said about the Putty Primer, you know, just because something doesn't cost a lot of money and doesn't work for you doesn't mean you can't be a little bit regretful over it, because it's always bummed me to have things that don't work for you. Even though I love the color of this, the stickiness, I can just feel like when I go like that with my lips, I just feel everything unfurling and it's disgusting. I hate it. So let's go into palettes because we've got a journey here. So the first palette that I'm going to talk about, I'm really kicking myself for getting this because I didn't need it. I didn't need this, and I kind of knew that I wasn't going to use it. And this is the Revolution Beauty Honey Teddy Bear palette. I just got this because I thought it was cute, and I didn't even look at the inside. And then I decided to look at the inside one day, and oh my god, this is so boring. This is a really boring palette, and I'm never going to use this. I just bought it for the packaging, and you know, I think it's okay to have things like that sometimes, but it was fairly expensive. I think it was 11 euros or 12 euros. That's quite a bit of money just to have something that looks cute on my vanity, because I could have easily gone to like a Home Sense and picked up a little knickknack that looked like this, and I wouldn't have wasted eyeshadow. But I didn't do that. I don't know why I got this. I just got sucked into the cute packaging and I gave Revolution my money when I didn't need to, and so I am kind of mad that I own this, but it's cute. I'm kind of torn with this one. I do regret getting it though, because like I said before, I could have gotten a little trinket that looked like this and not have wasted eyeshadow. I'm a little mad. The next thing that I have is this Dior Backstage eye palette. I believe this is the Warm Neutrals. It's garbage. It's crap. Nothing in this works. There's a primer in it that was really dry and I hate it. I just didn't like it. The shimmers in it are fine, but they're not anything revolutionary. This palette's like nearly $60. It's poo. It's like actual poo, and I'm so mad that I got this. The mattes are terrible. They are so light that they hardly even showed up on my skin, so I couldn't even imagine if somebody with a darker complexion tried to use this. It just probably just wouldn't show up. The only thing that's kind of redeemable about these palettes is the shimmers, but the shimmers are just like shimmers that I have in my Revolution palettes. Like, they're not anything extraordinary, and I have things in my collection that are so much better than this, so I hate this. It's literally been sitting in my closet because I get angry when I look at it. This is just another reason why I don't really want to buy luxury branded makeup. It's just not good. It's not good. This was terrible and I regret getting it. Now, the next thing that I have is this mini Norvina Pro Pigment palette. This is the volume 2. Now, I kind of regret having any ABH makeup right now, but this one in particular, I just didn't need it because I have the volume 3 and I much prefer the volume 3, and I just don't know why I got it. I think it was just on sale and I was like, whatever, it's on sale, let's just get it. This one reminds me of the volume 3 more than the mini Norvina volume 3, but yeah, regardless, I reach for the volume 3 over the volume 2 when I feel like using it, but I don't feel good about using any of my ABH products as of lately. Just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. I like the formula of it though. Like, I actually do like the pressed pigment formula that they have, but yeah, I just can't look at ABH stuff. It makes me upset. Then the next thing that I have here are my Revolution mini donut palettes. I really tried to make these work for me. As you can see in this blue one, I have dug into it a little bit. The red one I didn't do too much with, but I couldn't make these work for me, and it really sucks because I've had really good luck with my other I Heart Revolution Tasty palettes. I love most of the Tasty palettes that I have. There was one that was just like absolutely bad. That's also in this list. But I have had good luck with the I Heart Revolution palettes that I've tried, but these ones just didn't hit the mark. They were light, they were patchy, there was so much kickback on the palette, and then on my eyes. I had eyeshadow like all the way down to here when I was using it. So much fallout. The shimmers just got everywhere. It was just a bad experience, and I'm keeping these because I like the packaging, but I can't use these eyeshadows. I actually can't use these. They're awful. They're terrible. With Revolution, I seem to get suckered into the packaging. I have 2 other Revolution products, both I Heart Revolution. This is the I Heart Revolution Turkish Delight Chocolate Palette. It's awful. It's terrible. Those glitters are bad. The greens are bad. It's just bad. Like, I have no other words. It's just bad, and I'm kind of annoyed talking about it because I love this color story. I'm pretty sure that this is one of my dream color stories. Like, if another brand that I liked had this color story, I'd probably go for it because I love the mix of greens and rich pinks and purples, as well with a little bit of gold and orange. I think it's beautiful. Everything else about this is just bad. It's just bad, which is unfortunate, but is what it is. The next palette that I have is another Tasty palette from I Heart Revolution. This is the Tasty Coffee palette. It's a nice pinky neutral palette, and I like the colors in here, but there was very little color payout, a lot of fallout, pretty much the same issues that I had with these donut palettes I had with this palette. I had a hard time making it work for me, and I don't really go for neutrals very often, so when I do want to do a neutral look, I want it to just work. I don't want to have to do too much to have like make it work and look nice. So I'm not exactly happy that I have this. Just a lot of fallout. Payout wasn't good. Sure, the packaging is cute, but what good is a cute package if the stuff inside isn't that great? and so I am not that happy to have bought this. I kind of regret it. I just figured basically since my chili palette and my avocado palette worked out, all of the palettes from I Heart Revolution work for me, and that's just not the case. Their formula isn't consistent, and that's just a sad truth. Anyways, the next thing that I have is kind of a bummer because I did like my BH Take Me to Brazil palette. So I figured that I would like another BH palette, but that wasn't the case. Unfortunately with this guy. This is the Trendy in Tokyo palette. This is part of BH's travel collection. It's a Brights palette, and I don't have a Rainbow Brights Skittle palette. Like, I don't have anything super, like, all-in-one super colorful. At the time, at least, I didn't. Now I do. Since I didn't, I decided to just go for this one. Since it was affordable and I tried BH before, I figured this would work for me, and it just didn't work out. It's a Brights palette, so you expect highly pigmented shadows and you expect it to really be bright, and it wasn't. It just wasn't bright. I tried building it up, didn't help, and honestly there was a lot of kickback from this palette and it just didn't work. Unfortunately, it just didn't work as a Brights palette. I am looking to get the Colored Rain Vivid Pigments palette, but since I am in a no buy, I am just waiting on it, and it's sold out anyways, so I'm gonna be waiting for that one. In the meantime, I've just been pulling from my ColourPop 9 pans. I actually depotted all of my ColourPop 9 pans, so this has been my Acting Brights palette. It's a little bit overwhelming to look at, but I can create a very colorful rainbow look with it. I am always so disappointed when I look at this. The packaging isn't even that cute. Like, I like the little motifs around it that, you know, have different symbols of Japanese culture, but it's not a good palette. It's just not good. And it's unfortunate because the Take Me to Brazil palette, hey Google, stop timer. It's unfortunate because that anyways, it's unfortunate because, you know, the Take Me Back to Brazil palette worked really well for me, and this just wasn't it. It is what it is, right? So that's it. That's all of the makeup that I regret. I would love to know what makeup you regret down below in the comments. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe if you've been enjoying my content. I hope that you are having an excellent day, and I hope that you just had fun going through these regrets with me. Just remember, guys, to stay positive about our future and be conscious of the world around you. Continue to educate yourself on the plight of Black people all around the world, especially in America right now, and we're gonna do better. We're gonna get there. It'll be better one day for everybody on the planet. We'll all be safe, you know, not only from COVID, but from racial injustice. So yeah, guys, that's all for me, and just take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!